I didn't almost lose my life because of violence. There was no gunshot, no crash, no sudden disaster. What nearly ended everything was a decision that lasted 5 seconds. The moment I chose to save time on a road I didn't understand. It happened in Arizona. Night run. Solo haul. A sealed 53-foot trailer behind me, and bills stacked higher than the freight I was carrying. Diesel prices, insurance payments, overdue installments. Every mile felt like money leaking away. When you live like that, time stops being time. It becomes survival. That afternoon outside Phoenix, the delay started small. Paperwork took longer than promised. The shipper moved slowly. By the time I finally rolled out of the yard, exhaustion was already sitting behind my eyes. The GPS mapped the usual route. Safe, familiar, predictable. Then it recalculated. A secondary highway appeared on the screen. 15 minutes faster. 15 minutes doesn't sound dangerous, but truck drivers know better. 15 minutes saved can easily become hours lost when something goes wrong. Still, I turned. The shortcut. Before leaving the yard, I had inspected the truck, or at least convinced myself I had. Checked the seal, kicked the tires, looked for leaks, verified the lights. But a rushed inspection isn't inspection. It's theater. My electronic logbook showed almost no margin left before my driving hours expired. I could have stopped, slept, and continued in the morning. But arriving late meant missing the next load. Missing the next load meant bills stacking up. Fear has a strange way of disguising risk as logic. I also hadn't filled the tank completely. Another attempt to save money. Secondary roads rarely have truck stops open overnight. I knew that. I ignored it anyway. Because when you're thinking about expenses, shortcuts start to look like solutions. The silence. At first, the road looked normal. Fresh asphalt. Reflective paint flashing beneath the headlights. Clear sky. No moon. Stars sharp enough to feel cold. No traffic. No towns. No lights. I usually enjoy quiet roads. But when fatigue sets in, silence stops feeling peaceful. It starts feeling wrong. After a few miles, my phone signal vanished. That part was expected. What wasn't expected was the sign. It wasn't official, no proper post, no reflective standard markings. Just a metal rectangle tied to a crooked pole with cable ties. One word painted across it. Reduce. No speed number. No construction warning. No explanation. Just an order. I eased off the accelerator. A minute later, cones appeared along the roadside. Unevenly spaced, scattered like they'd been thrown out instead of placed. The shoulder narrowed until it almost disappeared. That should have been enough to turn around. But turning a fully loaded trailer on a tight rural road isn't simple. Getting stuck sideways would have been worse. So I kept moving and started explaining it away. Maybe unfinished construction. Maybe a temporary repair crew. Maybe poor signage. Except real work zones follow patterns. This didn't. Everything felt improvised, not designed to guide traffic, but to slow it at one precise location. And the strangest part? No tire marks. No dust disturbances. No evidence that any vehicle had stopped there before me. It looked staged. Perfectly clean. Perfectly quiet. The first warning. The radio hissed. Not static, not exactly. More like someone pressing a microphone button without speaking. A short burst. Then silence. I turned up the volume. Nothing followed. The road dipped into tighter curves, and ahead I noticed a faint amber light blinking near ground level. The first human-made light I'd seen in nearly 40 minutes. Relief came too quickly. A pickup truck sat diagonally across part of the lane, hazard lights flashing weakly. No driver visible. I slowed, but kept the engine running. Engine on means control, air pressure, steering, escape. I didn't lower the window. Didn't unlock the doors. I checked my mirrors instead. That's when I saw movement. A flashlight beam near my diesel tank, pointed downward, not toward me. Someone trying not to be seen. Another shadow moved farther back near the trailer. That's when understanding arrived. This wasn't assistance. It was preparation. The setup. Cargo theft doesn't begin with aggression. It begins with patience. They weren't rushing. They were positioning. They wanted me to stop completely. Maybe step out. Maybe open the door for a problem. Once you leave the cab, control disappears. I locked the doors again just to feel the click. Turned off the cabin lights so they couldn't see inside. Watched. A soft tap hit the side of the truck, testing, measuring. They were deciding where I would finally stop. The road was perfect for them. Narrow, isolated, invisible to anyone else. Instead of honking or panicking, I did something simple. I switched my headlights off for 1 second, then back on. A signal. I'm awake. I see you. I'm not confused. The shadows paused, then moved back. They understood the message. The escape. I reversed slowly. Not to flee, just enough to change the angle. Behind me, erosion had widened a small section of shoulder. Barely enough space. Enough. I backed a little more, aligned the trailer carefully, then pushed forward, steering left as wide as possible. The trailer cleared the pickup truck by inches. Metal scraped somewhere behind me. I didn't look. 2 seconds later, headlights exploded alive behind me. The pickup launched forward. Now it was a chase. Not cinematic, mechanical. My truck couldn't outrun anything. My goal wasn't speed. It was visibility. Light. Witnesses. Anything connected to civilization. The pickup flashed high beams into my mirrors, trying to blind me. I adjusted the angles and held a steady pace. Sudden braking would have handed them control. The radio crackled again, longer this time, almost like fake communication chatter. I ignored it. Real authority doesn't play games on empty roads. I tried calling emergency services anyway. No signal. So I activated the dashboard recorder and began narrating details aloud. Location, vehicle description, time. If something happened, there would be a record. The exit. Eventually, a green highway sign appeared ahead. Connection to a major road. Hope is dangerous. It makes you relax too early. They tried forcing me toward a curve, attempting to make me brake hard. I held the engine brake steady instead. No panic. No sudden movement. Just control. When I finally reached the main highway, distant headlights appeared. Other drivers. Movement. Life. A 24-hour gas station glowed ahead like daylight. I pulled into the brightest section, surrounded by cameras and parked trucks. Only then did I shut off the engine. Only then did my hands start shaking. Aftermath. The police later confirmed what I already suspected. Improvised roadblocks. Fake signage. Targeting tired solo drivers on secondary routes. They didn't want confrontation. They wanted opportunity. A driver stepping down to check a problem. A door opening. Keys within reach. Quick work. No witnesses. I left with a cracked mirror, scratched trailer, and a lesson that still follows me. Danger on the road rarely looks like danger. It looks convenient. Since that night, I don't chase saved minutes anymore. I arrive late if I have to. Because the road forgives delays. But it never forgives the wrong decision made while tired.